Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets market wrap with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video, I'm going to be covering a lot of what's happened this week and what levels have been interesting to watch, or what charts have been interesting this week, and how we can potentially trade them into the following weeks. Now, obviously, it's Christmas next week. The volatility will be very, very low. So, don't really look to trade over this period of time. But it's always good just to keep your eye on the market and see what's going on. So I'll keep you up to date with anything significant. But other than that, we'll be having a good rest next week, or part of the way through next week. Now, looking at the news this week, it's been very interesting. So we've had a number of poor announcements out of the pound, apart from CPI data. CPI data and GDP data, for instance, came in pretty good for the pound. Obviously, Brexit in the headlines, still taking control over there, still dominating the pound market, or the UK market. So this data, yes, will have an influence, but will also be overshadowed by a lot of the Brexit chat. So we have to be considerate of that. Now, we still feel the pound is a little bit short. It's coming into some support levels. We'll talk about that in a moment when we head over to the charts. But in other news, we had the RBA meeting minutes as well. We also had ECB President Lagarde speaking this week. But other than that, there's been a lot of data announcements, CPI data, and we had the big Bank of England interest rate decision, where we expected to see rates left at 0.75%, which they was. So nothing really in the news that's shining out to me as unexpected. The one thing that we didn't expect was the CAD core retail sales. This is why our CAD yen trade has triggered. Basically, the retail sales came in at minus 0.5% when they were forecast to come in positive. So, that's been a detrimental effect to why the Canadian dollar is dropping currently. So that's good for our trade. Now, what I do want to just cover bases on was this video identifying a currency's strength or weakness. And in this video, I went with how to build your strength and weakness table. Now, I had a very good question by Elena. I have a question about how you mark minuses in your trade table. Can you explain how a currency gets a -5, for example? I completely forgot to explain that in the video. Sometimes when I'm explaining something, I forget to talk about a point, but it is a very important point. So I did set a reply here to Alina that you can check out, but I will go through it at the start of this video just to make sure that we're all clear on that process. So essentially, you have a for and against column. So I've got the table here. So the column going to the horizontal column is a for column, okay, and the vertical column is against, okay. Now I'm just going to fill in euro as an example. So let's just say euro against the Kiwi was in a downtrend, for instance. So we'd go 0 and we'd go 1 to Kiwi. Again, euro CAD, let's say euro CAD was range bound. This is just theoretical for now, just so I can explain the point. And let's say euro against the dollar was still bullish, so we'd say still in an uptrend, 1 to the euro. Now what you actually do is you add the individual columns together to get your total, okay. So the reason why pound was +6 is because we had 6 across the for column and 0 along the against column, okay. So what we have here on euro is 2, okay, +2 in the for column, but in the against column we have 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. So this would give me a score of -2, okay, because you're basically taking +2 and minusing the 4 from the against. So we've got a -2 formed here, which is a negative, so you'd fill that in red, Okay, so that's how we score the actual minus numbers. Okay, so you add the for against and the against column together. Okay, so hopefully that's explained that. Thanks, Alina, for asking that question. It was a very important question to ask, so I thank you for that. And again, I always appreciate your feedback, guys, even if it's bad feedback, or I want to be able to provide good value to you guys. So if you do have any pressing questions or anything like that, please feel free to drop me a comment what you'd like to see done better, anything like that. Happy for the feedback, and hopefully it'll help you grow as a trader. So thank you, Alina, Bongo, and Don, for your recent feedback on that video. Really appreciate that. So let's just go into some charts. Obviously, we're in a few charts that I just want to cover quickly. CAD Yen has triggered. We're just sitting slightly offside now. It did drop in our favour by around about 23 pips, but it's just gone a little bit offside now. It's a pullback from that news event, so hopefully that can continue to move towards our targets. Aussie Kiwi as well, we're still in that. The market's just formed that bullish divergence, still sitting in this. We got stopped in our original trade this week, but added in another position because I still feel that the technical analysis is meeting the rules to take a long position in the first place. So sticking with that one, Euro Yen, I talked about a short opportunity on the hourly time frame, so I really hope you looked at that, because it absolutely smashed it basically. So yesterday I spoke of this trend line break. If you sold the trend line break in here with the stops above those highs, you would have made at least 60 pips off of that drop down through there. So expecting Euro Yen to come back down and retest this 121 high in here. So if you are still short that market, you can hold those positions down to there. But let's go see how the major currency pairs fared up. Euro dropped, still in that uptrend, but dropped as expected. The weekly time frame was showing us a bit of failure at this 111.70 high, and the market started to press lower slightly, so we could still see some euro weakness coming into play. Kiwi, we're in this as well. We got triggered. It was moving nicely, but it's stalling again here. We still have some good bearish divergence being shown here, so I'm going to hold this one, see if it can press lower. But we just got to give these trades a bit of patience, and see how they perform going into next week. Pound was a chart that we spoke about that we could see some downside in our market outlook video this week. It dropped nicely. We're back into that 1.3 level now. So it's how does the market react here? Do we see a relief rally? If we do, is it a strong enough rally to go test the 1.33 weekly level again? Or, are we just going to see a shallow retracement, which suggests we could see some longer term downside, perhaps back into that 128. Pound Yen was another one we looked at this week, heading back towards this 141.50. This hasn't quite hit the level yet, so we still could see that before the end of the week. Obviously, we still have a few hours of trading left, but it's coming up to the low liquidity period, so we could just see price finish here. Going into Pound Aussie. Sorry guys, I'm having to sip some tea because I have a cold, so apologies if I sound a bit bunged up. But Pound Aussie was one that again we looked at this week. We looked at a potential double top, which didn't come to fruition in the end on the 4-hour time frame. Just in here, double top, looking for the retest of that. Didn't happen. Unfortunately, price just kept dropping. But that weekly time frame suggesting that there could be some serious downside. So again, we'll have to wait for a pullback and see if we can get any shorts going in on this market here. Australian dollar through December, January usually bullish. So good sign to buy the Australian dollar. Euro Yen we've covered. Obviously, Aussie Kiwi we've covered as well. Gold is just sitting around, not really doing anything. I have banked the position on gold now. The market is just stalling. not doing anything here. You know, we could even see a pullback continue move. So we could see another drop on this before seeing that bullish move. I don't like the price action on it at the moment. So, you know, I've banked the position. I've only got the Kiwi dollar, Aussie Kiwi, CAD yen positions open now, going into next week. Okay, so thanks for watching this video update, and have a great Christmas, and I'll speak to you very soon.